Tekking Twister! Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Filler Palooza, where we talk about all the devil fruits that only showed up one time, will probably never be referenced again, and we're probably going to talk about them today for over an hour. So go get your snacks and your soda, your juice, your alcohol, your cigarette, your bong, I don't care. Yeah, you do that. I'm gonna untangle my feet from this blanket, and then we'll get started. There's a lot of stuff to discuss. I made a little color-coded sheet. There's a lot of filler fruits. There's one on here that can literally turn you into a train car. Yeah, this is going to be a weird list. Okay, but let's start with some clarification, alright? Because when I use the word filler, some people might take umbrage with that. Maybe you prefer anime only or non-canon. Hey, look, I'm using filler mostly as a marketing tool, okay? It's a lot more impactful to have a video titled, all filler devil fruits in One Piece, or filler explained, rather than non-canon devil fruits in One Piece. It's a little more of a striking title. It's a powerful title, you know what I mean? But I also think most people understand when you use the word filler, you're talking about stuff that does not appear in the original manga or in the original source material, okay? So, every devil fruit that we're going to be talking about today does not appear or is not mentioned at all in the original storyline of the One Piece manga, okay? This includes anime-only arcs, movie tie-in arcs, movies themselves, OVAs, original video animations, so like television specials, video games obviously, but going beyond all that, there's some stuff that you might not figure, because One Piece is just such a massive franchise. It goes beyond just the screen or the video game console, okay? We also have a bunch of plays. Full-length featured plays, like productions. And beyond that, there's also some devil fruits that Oda created in the SBS, and special events, like the One Piece X Kyoto thing that happened last year. Let's just do this by section, okay? So we're gonna first start off with the anime-only arcs, okay? This does not include the movie tie-ins, like the Little East Blue or the Z's Ambition. These are just self-contained filler arcs that were basically there just to pad out time. Now, One Piece is usually really good with not including a lot of filler arcs, or if they do have filler arcs, they usually don't last very long. Remember the Bount arc in Bleach? That was like 50 friggin' episodes. Some of the longest ones in One Piece barely last 10. So let's start off with the first filler arc in One Piece, the Warship Island arc, that takes place between Logtown and the time that the Straw Hats arrive at Reverse Mountain and enter the Grand Line. So the Warship Island arc gives us two unique devil fruit users. The first is Apis, and I really liked Apis's character. If you don't remember her, she was the little girl that had a dragon as a grandfather, and she was trying to protect her homeland and everything. I'm not usually a fan of whenever you have like the main cast of the series, and then you have like a little child that's like, I'm gonna tag along with you for this arc, because they usually turn out to be rather annoying, but I liked Apis. She wasn't very annoying, and her devil fruit is the Hiso Hiso no Mi, or the Whisper fruit. It allows her to talk to animals. Now, this was way before Chopper was introduced, who pretty much has that ability on default, because he was an animal before he ate his devil fruit. So it's kind of like like some foreshadowing. Later down the line, we're going to meet another character that's going to join the Straw Hats that has the ability to talk to animals. It would have been actually rather funny if Apis traveled with the crew, and she's like, I can use my devil fruit to talk to animals. I'll be super useful. And then they bring on Chopper, and they're like, well, Apis, I guess we don't need you anymore. Later! And they just, like, kick her off the crew, and they just like, okay, Chopper, let's go. Talking, transforming reindeer who can also talk to animals, or just a little girl raised by dragons who can talk to animals. I gotta go with the transforming reindeer. But Apis was okay. I didn't really have much of a problem with her. And the little plot of Warship Island where she was trying to protect the dragons and everything, that was really cool. In fact, now that we have all the dragon stuff in One Piece going on with Vegapunk and everything, you might actually be able to rework the Warship Island arc into like a movie if you change some stuff around. I guess it could work, maybe. The other devil fruit user that we get in the Warship Island arc is an enemy, and it's Eric. Eric has the power of the Kama Kama no Mi. And that was funny because Luffy kept thinking whenever he was saying his power, that he was saying he was an Okama. Once again, this was before Mr. 2 was introduced, although I believe he was around in the manga, so this might be the anime team just trying to hint at things to come, like a character that can talk to animals, a character that's being mistaken for an Okama. Okamas are going to be showing up later in One Piece, so yeah. The Kama Kama fruit translates out to the Sickle fruit, and it allows the user to grow really long fingernails shaped like, like claws, like really sharp nails, and then they can shoot out pressurized wind blades using their sickle fingernails. So, simple anime anime power, just like, sickle, wind blade, cut things up from a distance. Pretty cool power. Wasn't much of a threat for the Straw Hats, although there was a scene involving Eric's demise. If you don't remember what it is, allow me to refresh your memory. Nami straight up kills his ass. No, not like, she just kind of like bonks him on the head and, knocks him out or chains him up. No. Nami straight up kills Eric, okay? So after the arc is finished, the Straw Hats arrive at Reverse Mountain. They're starting to ascend up the side of the mountain to get to the Grand Line. Eric stowed away on the Going Merry to try to kill the Straw Hats. He pops out while they're rising up on the current. He's kind of an idiot because he decides to stand on the side of the ship, and he's like, I'm gonna shred your ship up, and I'm gonna kill you and claim your bounties and all that stuff. And everyone's kind of like, oh, I don't know what to do because he could, shred our ship with one attack. Nami literally just goes up, sweeps his leg, knocks him off of the Going Merry, and he falls into this rushing current that's going up the side of a mountain. Now, Eric obviously cannot swim because he's a devil fruit user, and they even make a point to mention that even if he could swim, it wouldn't save his ass because this current is so strong that he would just get swept away anyway. And all of the Straw Hats are just kind of chill with that. They were just like, oh, good job, Nami. Why didn't we think of that? When in reality, I like to picture Eric hitting the water, drowning, all of his limbs going numb, he can't move, and then this monstrous current of Reverse Mountain carries him like a freaking rag doll, and he cracks his skull open up against the side of a rock, and he dies. Eric's dead. Don't f*** with Nami. She's straight up cold-blooded. Alright, so moving on to one of the next filler arcs, and actually, G8 is unfortunately not on here because there's no characters introduced in the G8 arc that have a devil fruit, but I want to mention that G8 is one of the best filler arcs, not just in One Piece, but of anime in general. It's a good one. I should make a whole video about that. But anyway, moving on to the next one, the Davy Back Fight arc fillers. Crap. I hate this arc. I'm not a fan of Davy Back Fight. I mean, some people have said it's kind of a lighthearted break in between some major, plot developments, like we just had the whole thing with Skypiea, and then everything gets kind of intense once we get to Water 7 and Ennie's Lobby with Robin and Usopp and everything. So some people say that Davy Back Fight is just kind of a break from that. It's just some lighthearted fun. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I hate Foxy. I don't like him as a villain. Some people have also brought up, though, that it's a really interesting arc because it shows that Luffy is very vulnerable against an opponent like Foxy that uses trickery, and the thing is, Foxy wasn't even all that clever, but he was still able to trick Luffy, so it kind of showed Luffy's weaknesses, and I can respect that. I'm just not a fan of the arc, and I'm especially not a fan of the Davy Back Fight fillers. So if you don't remember, in the manga, I at least remember this much. There were like 3 rounds of the Davy Back Fight in the manga, and then after that, they go on. But in the anime, they had to make it go longer, so I think after the first 3 rounds, there's some bullshit, and they call, like, a do-over, and they do, like, another 3 rounds. And I'm like, oh my god, can we just get to Water 7 already? But, anyway, in the second half of the Davy Back Fight, in the filler, there's a character named Chester Cheetah? Alright, well, whatever. He's a member of the Foxy Pirates, and he has a zone that allows him to turn into a cheetah, so a speed-based devil fruit. Not really much to go on here. He could transform into a cheetah. He can run really fast. He could do all the stuff a cheetah can do. And, also, considering that we're going to meet Lucci in the next arc, I think this is also kind of some foreshadowing for Lucci's carnivorous zone, which is a leopard, and I always confuse leopards and cheetahs, but there are different, large cats. But yeah, so that's cheetah. Now I'm thinking of Chia Pets. Remember Chia Pets? Chia. Okay, moving on to the Ice Hunter arc, we got Don Asino, and this is a guy that has one of the many devil fruits that involve heat, because you had Ace, who has the ability to control fire, and you have Akainu, who has the ability to control magma, right? But I mean, I guess it's just because people aren't really all that clever, and they want to have a lot of powers that involve fire, because it's really easy to just use powers that have fire. So, there are like 4 or 5 different characters spread out through the One Piece franchise that can use some type of hot or heat or fire-based devil fruit. So, Don Asino has the power of the Atsu Atsu, or the hot fruit. It allows him to control everything heat-based, so his own body temperature, for instance, he can rest on a big slab of ice and not feel cold. He can expel magma out of his his body. He can control magma and lava to an extent, or rather he doesn't get harmed by it. He could heat up his own body, so it's hard to like damage him, because if you touch him, you're gonna, you know, boil your hand away or whatever. Pretty basic ability, involves heat, not fire, heat. There's a difference, which there is a difference. It's just there's a lot of other devil fruits that have this same basic premise. But I was okay with Donacino. I was alright with the Ice Hunter arc. Do I wish it would have ended maybe a little bit sooner? Sure, but overall it was okay. Puzzle was an okay character, so I'm okay with the Ice Hunter arc. Moving on, we have, this is post-timeskip now. Like I said, the filler arcs that are just self-contained, that are not movie tie-ins, they're kind of spread out throughout the One Piece stories. So after the Ice Hunter arc, we did not get another self-contained filler until the Caesar retrieval arc after Punk Hazard going to Dressrosa that involved Breed. Breed has the power of the Peto no Mi, which allows him to put a control collar on various animals and humans as well, and manipulate them as he sees fit. I don't believe this gives him the ability to manipulate the others' Devil Fruit abilities, because when he controlled Luffy and Law, he couldn't use their Devil Fruit powers and make them fight, but he could still make them physically fight. He also does this to control the Kung Fu Dugongs and the, you know, the animal pirates that arrived at his place. This arc did not last very long, and a lot of the self-contained filler arcs after this point do not last very long. Only make me like 2 or 3 episodes at most. So yeah, in terms of that ability, I mean, like, Breed was kind of a shitty character, didn't really have much going on for him there. But in terms of a power, I mean, you could probably do some kinky stuff in the bedroom with it, but overall, you know, not an amazing power. And the last of the self-contained filler arcs we have is the Marine Rookie arc that we just had rather recently. It was in between the Zoe arc and Totland, where we meet All Hunt Grunto, or Grunto, or Grunt. I think it's Grunto, I think, because he's like a marine grunt, you know? Okay, this is a weird one. We do not know the name of Grunto's Devil Fruit, okay? It is an unknown zone that works very differently than any other zone we've seen. Usually what happens is you eat a zone fruit, and you can just inherently transform your body between 3 different stages. Now, you might have some difficulty changing your body through the 3 different stages at first, but nothing like the way it works with Grunt's ability. It literally, like, is like a possession. Like, there's, like, some animal spirit or demon that took over his body, and he can't control it. This giant gorilla arm thing, you know, takes over his, I think it's his left arm, and it just wrecks things without his control. Like, granted, he ate the fruit when he was a little kid, but Chopper ate the fruit when he was a little kid as well, and he didn't have any, you know, insane, like, rage moments where his fruit was raging out of control and he couldn't, you know, manipulate it. He had that later when he developed the Rumble Ball and he ate the, you know, he turned into Monster Point. That's kind of like with Grunt's fruit. It's sort of like a default Monster Point Chopper, where his left arm, only his left arm, transforms into, like, the red gorilla thing, like King Kong Devil Fruit or something. It might possibly be a mythical zone or an ancient zone. I think it might be mythical, though, because if it's something like that, then maybe it would make more sense why he can't control it. It's also weird because it's only limited to his left arm, so that's kind of reminiscent of an artificial devil fruit, so maybe it's something to do with that, but this was years before all that stuff really was introduced. Not in the context of the story, but Grunt ate it when he was like a little kid, I believe, so I don't know, maybe Vegapunk or Caesar or somebody was messing around on his island and had an artificial devil fruit, because he doesn't actually transform into like a giant gorilla or something. So it's very weird, and they keep it, I think they go out of their way to keep it ambiguous on exactly what the name of his fruit is and what the nature of it is, how it actually works. So it's essentially just an arm that he has to have a special metal brace on to control, and then that gets broken off and he kind of learns how to control it in his fight with Luffy. It can contend with Gear 3rd, Armament Hockey, Thor, Elephant Gun, so it's a very strong ability. I'm just going to assume it's a mythical zone that he just has, you know, a problem controlling. Either that or it might be some kind of artificial one, because it's only limited to just his left arm. It's a weird ability, but it is Devil Fruit based, so there was All Hunt Grunto. Alright, so those were all the self-contained filler arcs. Now let's move on to the movie tie-ins. These are the arcs that don't last very long, but they connect to a movie or an OVA or something in some way, shape, or form. And we're actually going to start off with a weird one. This is the only one of its kind in the One Piece franchise that I know of, at least in the anime. This is an anime filler arc that's connected to a video game. So the video game Ocean's Dream was coming out, and they had an anime tie-in called the Ocean's Dream arc, featuring Noko, who has the power of the Nemu Nemu no Mi. Nemu from Bleach was hot. I miss her. But anyway, it's the sleep fruit. And he has the ability to put others to sleep. And then, in combination with his seahorse flute named Tatsu, okay, which is like a separate ability, not connected to the fruit, he has like a type of hypnotism, kind of like what Mrs. Golden Week had. So he puts people to sleep using the Nemu Nemu no Mi, and then uses this fruit to hypnotize them and like erase their memories. And that was the whole premise of the filler arc, and that was the whole premise of the video game. And I believe in the video game it was stated he had the devil fruit, but in the anime it wasn't mentioned, or one or the other. But it's interesting because it's the only example of a filler arc directly tied into a video game in the One Piece anime. All the other ones are just movie tie-ins. So yeah, that's Noko. Now, moving on to the Little East Blue arc, we have Largo. Remember, as a member of the Amigo Pirates, I think it was their captain, the Spanish dude with the hat, the sombrero, and the guitar and everything? Okay, so he has the power of the Ami Ami no Mi, or the Net fruit. Alright, so already pretty basic ability. He can create nets out of his body. Someone tries to punch him, he can turn his body into a net to kind of disperse the impact and everything. And he can also do like the cat's cradle thing where he can take his hands and then just like make a net like this, and he can extend it and shoot it out at people. Another little facet of this devil fruit that I thought was pretty cool is that he can make nets of varying elements. So all he has to do is ingest certain things into his body, and he can turn things from that substance into a net. So one thing he does that's kind of comedic is he ingests boiling water, which still hurts him to actually drink like a kettle of boiling water, like, oh my god, it's so hot! But in exchange for that, he can create a net made out of boiling water. Just go with it. He makes a variety of these. He makes a barbed wire net to capture Luffy. He makes a boiling water net, like I stated. I think he uses that to capture Zoro. And then he uses the sticky net to capture Zoro. It makes like some kind of sticky, gooey substance. And then he makes another kind of net that slowly gets smaller and smaller to capture Sanji. So he has a bunch of these different elemental nets that he uses. So, alright. Pretty cool ability. I think as far as filler devil fruits go, that's a pretty cool one, the net fruit. Then we have the Z's Ambition arc, which was a tie-in to the movie film Z. Oh, and Largo, the Little East Blue arc, that was a tie-in to the movie Strong World. And I should bring up right now that Shiki is not on here, because Shiki was somebody that hasn't actually made an appearance properly in the One Piece manga, but he has been mentioned many times to be Shiki the Golden Lion. It was mentioned that he actually, I think he did appear in the manga in that tie-in chapter. But it has been stated that he exists, and he does have the float fruit powers. He escaped from Impale Down. That's already part of the One Piece lore in the One Piece manga, okay? So while Shiki might still appear at some point, who knows? But for right now, he's definitely an actual character that might appear, so I'm not going to have him on here. I don't consider Shiki a filler character, and neither should you. But anyway, moving on to the Z's Ambition arc for the movie film Z, we have Lily and Stomach, who is a giant, a female giant. I believe the first one that we actually get to see, period. No, we got to see the female giant at Marineford, but we didn't really get to find out much about her. But yeah, so Lily Stomach is a giant, and she has the ability of the Mini Mini no Mi, which is miniature. She is allowed to change her size at will, so she can have her default size, which is a giant. She can shrink down to normal human size, or she can shrink even smaller to the size of an insect and run around. I liked Lily. She was a lot of fun. Her and Luffy had some neat little back and forth there, some facial expressions she made, like that time she made her head huge. You know, that was some pretty funny stuff. Also, boobs, so, okay, fine. And she used a fork as a weapon. How many other anime badasses do you know that use a fork as their weapon, aside from Toriko? I mean, it's pretty cool, you know, right? Okay. So that was Lily as Stomach. And actually, it's funny, because her ability, the Mini Mini no Mi, actually appears in another form of fiction used by a video game character from way back in, like, 2004. And we'll get to him when we get to the video game sections. But, yeah, so that's Lily and Stomach. Next, we have another character from the Z's Ambition arc. We have the Alpacasino, which is another object that ate a zone. So in this case, it was a cannon that ate some kind of alpaca fruit. We don't exactly know the exact name of the alpaca fruit, but I have a line of reasoning here. Okay, so you guys know Dalton's devil fruit, right? It's the ox fruit model bison. And then later on, we get the introduction of Kaku's devil fruit, which is the ox fruit model giraffe. And that got me looking at the taxonomy of these, and I found out that alpacas are also in the same order as giraffes and bison, the order of Artodactylia. So, if we're going along with that logic, then wouldn't it be the ox fruit model alpaca? Okay, we'll go with that. By the way, something I just found out recently, there is an alpaca farm 10 minutes from my house. Like, I live in western Pennsylvania. I was driving by it, you know, the other day, first time I've been out that way in a while, and I'm like, are those freaking llamas? And I'm like, no, those are alpacas. I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I'll make a video where I go to this alpaca farm that just spontaneously appeared within driving distance of my house. Okay, anyway, yeah, it was a cannon that ate the alpaca fruit, so it's an alpaca cannon. There you go. We've seen kind of the same basic idea as Lasso, Mr. Four and Mrs. Merry Christmas's cannon dog from Alabasta, so same basic premise there. Next we have the Silvermine arc, which ties into the movie Film Gold. We have Bill, who has the power of the Gutsu no Mi, which is the smelt fruit. Alright, so this is a cool power. Basically, Bill is an entire blasting furnace human, alright? So he takes various types of ore and metal and, like, can consume them like, you know, food, and then he can, like, just superheat his chest, and he can pull, like, swords and shit out of his body that he could smelt inside of his blast furnace. So that was a pretty cool ability, and also involves heat or fire in some way, once again. He has, like, a hulking brute form, which is, like, superheated blast furnace human, and he's looking kind of freaky here. So that's Bill, Silvermine arc. I thought he was, in terms of just aesthetic, he looked like a pretty cool character, and a neat ability as well. We're also going to see his ability later on down the list. It's used by somebody else in the One Piece franchise. Okay, so next we have, okay, this is a character that appears in Film Gold, but he first appears during the Silvermine arc, and the Silvermine arc is a tie-in to Film Gold, so I'm just going to put him here because this is the first time we get to see him, and that's Tanaka, who has the ability of the Nuke no Mi, or the through fruit. It gives him the ability of phasing. He can phase through any non-organic substance, so through floors and stuff like that. Very handy for espionage, very handy for observing people, or getting the drop on them. However, unlike a lot of other fruits, the weakness is he can phase through inorganic stuff, not through living matter. So all Robin had to do to capture him was literally just cover his entire body with her arms, and he can't phase through that, and then just, like, snap his neck at that point. So that was Tanaka, big giant bobblehead cat dude. And lastly, in the Silvermine arc, we have Avrion, who has the power of the Koro no Mi, or the roll fruit. The fruit that allows you to turn into a minecart human. Alright, now, first I gotta say that you don't actually have to be on a mine track in order to make it work, because otherwise that would be a very shitty fruit. You know, I can only use this fruit when a railway is easily accessible. It makes using the fruit a lot better, a lot more efficient, also a lot more convenient that this is a guy that's working at Silver Mine, and he happens to have the fruit that turns him into a mine cart. Okay, anime, whatever. I can't be mad at the Silvermine arc too much because it introduced Desire, and Desire is basically like Rule 63 Bartolomeo with huge boobs, so okay, fine. But yeah, Avrion, railcar human. The roll fruit, he can roll around as a railcar, he can store things in his railcar. Basically, he's the bus. He's the transport. How would you like that, to eat a devil fruit and it allows you to turn into, like, a truck or something and be like, yeah, truck human. Because, like, everyone's just gonna ask you for rides at that point. Like, oh, awesome, can I haul some stuff in the back of your body? I need to take it down to this place. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess so. Say goodbye to your weekends once you consume the roll fruit. That's all I'm saying. All your friends are gonna be asking to use you for easy transport. Kids will always be asking you for rides and shit. You'll never hear the end of it. But anyway, yeah, that's the roll fruit. Okay, great devil fruit power. Okay, so those are all the movie tie-ins. There's some OVAs later, but that's a separate category. Like the Heart of Gold special, that's an OVA. We'll get into that later. Okay, now we're moving on to the actual One Piece movies, alright? And first we're going to start off with some of the more obscure ones. The One Piece movies probably a lot of you have not watched. I have not watched them, and so let's start with movie number 1, simply titled One Piece the Movie. And this is interesting because this is the first character not in the manga to have a devil fruit ability. And this is El Drago. El Drago is the main villain of the movie. The movie was released, I believe, in 2000, and I think actually it was just released in 2000, and the Warship Island arc that featured Apis and Eric was not until 2001. So this was a year before Apis was introduced with her filler Devil Fruit. So that makes El Drago the first character to have a Devil Fruit not in the manga. And it's the power of the Goe Goe no Mi, or the Scream Scream Fruit, which basically just translates out to the fruit that allows him to shoot a hyper beam from his mouth. Fire in my laser! That's what it is. It's a loud scream. It's like sound vibrations, but... look at it, it's a freak. It's like a ki blast from Dragon Ball. You'd see Piccolo or Nappa doing this crap, okay? So, yeah, that's the power of the fruit. And for the fact that he's the first antagonist in a One Piece movie, keep his ability rather simple. He was also he had an interesting personality. He was basically kind of like Nami, except he's this giant hulking dude instead of a hot, slender, busty, redhead, where he was obsessed with gold. It was gold, 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 to the point where, like Nami, you wonder if, she has, a fetish for it. At night she locks her door and just rubs gold all over her body. That's what El Drago did. He was just like, oh, gold, gold, so delicious, delicious gold, oh yes. He had, gold fingernails, to the point where he even rejected diamonds or gems. He didn't care about, I don't care about diamonds, I want gold, yeah. So, that was El Drago. We need to watch the first One Piece movie on, a movie night or something. We need to go through all the old school ones that nobody cares about anymore. Alright, so that was El Drago. Moving on to the second One Piece movie, Clockwork Island Adventure. We have the Trump siblings. No, not these ones. We have the Trump siblings that are all based off of different suits of cards, like diamonds and hearts and clubs. Okay, I know, yes, later on, those are the Doflamingo family, which, hey, I'm just saying... Oda just seems to be referencing the Clockwork Island Adventure with the Doflamingo family. Seems pretty simple to me. We have two of these Trump siblings that have Devil Fruit of powers. We have the main villain of the movie, Bear King, who has the ability of the Kachi Kachi no Mi, or the Hard Fruit. You might think this is just an ability that hardens his body like stone, but no, it means hard in the sense of, rubbing two stones together to create a fire. It's another heat fruit. He heats up his body, makes it really hard on top of being really hot, and then he can launch, punches and stuff, and that's the power of the Kachi Kachi no Mi. It would be several years before Oven was introduced, and now we just have the manga Devil Fruit that involves heat, the one in canon, and that would be Oven from the Big Mom Pirates. But for right now, we just have Don Asino and Bear King. Alright, and then we also have Honey Queen, who is the sexy villain of the movie, who we see naked on a few occasions, and she has a Logia, the power of the Toro Toro no Mi, or the Jelly Jelly Fruit. So she could just turn herself into some weird jelly-like substance. I think in the movie she uses it to, shoot at enemies, and she can also, contort her body into a pipe to, easy transport between areas and locations. She can just pop into one end of the pipe and just, squeeze her way through and pop out of the other. Nami actually ends up defeating her by just capturing her in a giant glass jar. So, way to go, Nami, MVP. We didn't have a lot of Straw Hats at this point at movie 2. I think we only had the first 5. So Nami had to pull her weight. This would be like in the during the Doflamingo fight. Let's just say Nami was still around and she took out Treble or somebody but in the old school movies, Nami you had to pull her weight. She was straight up sadistic. She killed people. She defeated main enemies. Nami was pretty epic. She still does stuff in the story now. I'm not saying, she did nothing all throughout, Film Gold or Strong World or anything. I'm just saying the spotlight seems to be taken away by a lot of the other characters now, because Nami's sort of glass cannon-y, But anyway, moving on from movie 2, we have movie 4, Dead End Adventure, featuring Gasparade, with his Ame Ame no Mi, or the Candy Candy Fruit. This character is the reason why Sparrow's Devil Fruit is the Lick Lick Fruit and not just the Candy Candy Fruit, because you think that would just be, he has the ability to control and manipulate candy. Just call it the Candy Candy Fruit. But no, you can't do that because Gasparade is a thing. Gasparade had the power to turn into some jelly candy syrup syrup-like substance, and it was a Logia. So he could get cut in half and just paste himself back together using his syrup. So yeah, pretty much just imagine Parospero's fruit as a Logia, and there you go with Gasparades. And it was also an excuse because you couldn't have just like a water-based devil fruit because that's like the natural weakness. I mean, who knows? Maybe we could later on, but in terms of just having a fruit that can turn you into some kind of substance, you can't use water. So the anime team had to get creative, and the movies had to get creative. Like, okay, they don't transform into water, they transform into jelly. And it's like, oh yeah, and they don't turn into water, but syrup. Yeah, that's like water. It's like a gooey substance. Let's do that. Like, okay, fine, whatever. It's a semi-solid, but alright, have fun with that. Alright, so that's Gasparade from movie 4, Dead End Adventure. Then we skip over a few of the movies, and then we get to movie 9, which is Bloom in Winter, Miracle Sakura, episode of Chopper. It's essentially a retelling of the Drum Island arc, but it features a new character, Wapple's brother Musaruhu, who has the power of the Noko Noko no Mi, or the Shroom fruit, which allows him to get super baked, but also allows him to shoot out these spores as weapons. And this is a weird thing. Try to wrap your head around this. Later on during the movie, Wapple uses his power of the Baku Baku no Mi to eat Musaru, his brother, and he gains the power of his devil fruits. So you have two devil fruits in one body. So you're probably sitting there like, what, huh? How come he doesn't explode? You want to know the reason? I'll tell you the reason. The reason is it's because it's a movie. Don't think about it. They wanted to have the cool combination effect. Just roll with it. Don't think that it's like, oh, maybe you can eat two devil fruits and not explode. Look at movie 9! That's not a good piece of reference material. It's a movie. Oda probably had very little to do with this outside of the original, just the basic design of Musaru. And like usually when people are designing a movie, when the anime staff or the movie staff are doing something, they'll go to Oda as like a reference or just like hey, we're gonna try to use this devil fruit in the movie. Is that okay with you? And Oda usually is just like, oh, okay, well that seems like a good idea. I'm not gonna use that in the story. Or he'll say something like, well, I actually plan on using that later down the line, so could you change it a little bit to make it look like this instead of what I'm gonna do? Something of that nature. And then later on, like, you could have the issue with Gasparade. Like, I'm sure back when movie 4 was released with Gasparade, I don't think Oda had planned for Parospero's character yet, because this was like 15 years before that. But, maybe not that long, but it was over a decade out from Perospero. So I think when Oda was designing Perospero, he was like, let's use the Ame Ame no Mi for his devil. Oh wait, that was already in one of those movies from like 10 years ago. Shit. Okay. Lick fruit. All right, whatever. So no matter what, even if they do use a fruit, Oda still might use it later on in the story. He'll just have to change up the name a little bit. But Oda's Oda. He got this. All right. So that's Musaru, the spore fruit. Next we have a character from movie 11, the 3D movie, Straw Hat Chase. And that's Buzz, who is a tiny little dog, who's like a bulldog, and he's rather old, and he has the ability of the zone fruit, the Tori Tori no Mi model eagle. So basically the same as Pell's fruit, except instead of a falcon, it's an eagle. Okay, pretty cool. Dog eagle. Not much more to say here. Way to go, Buzz! Moving on to Film Z, or Film Z, it's the 12th One Piece movie. We have two more devil fruits here. We first have Ein, who has the power of the Moto Moto no Mi, or the Return fruit. This is essentially Jori Bani's fruit that manipulate time in a certain way, or people's or things' ages, but it was modified to not be the same exact thing as Jori Bani, so it was added a restriction. The Return fruit can move things only backwards, not forwards, and it can only move things backwards at 12-year intervals. So she touches Robin and regresses her back to age 18. She touches Nami, who is age 20, and she turns back into age 8. And then Brook goes back to age like 78, but he was already 90, so you really couldn't see a difference either way. Chopper becomes like a little kid. Chopper becomes like 3 or something like that. So yeah, it's a very powerful devil fruit. It also works on objects, not just on people. She touched like I think a pillar of rock and it turned back into like magma or something. But if she is defeated, if she's rendered unconscious, everybody that was affected by her fruit turns back into normal, which is basically code for the scene in the movie when after she was defeated, I believe, by Zoro. No, was it Zoro that defeated her? I can't remember. I don't believe it was. I mean, maybe it was Sanji. I don't know. Someone defeats Ein, and then you have the scene where Nami turns from a little girl into boom, and then Robin goes boom, and then, yeah, that was a fun scene. But anyway, moving on to Bins, who has the power of the Mosa Mosa no Mi, or the Gro fruit. It allows, basically, so Ein's fruit is regression, Bean's fruit is progression or age acceleration, except it only works on plants. So he can take little seeds and he can increase the growth, and then they coming out into vines and they like restrain the opponent. It also seems like he has some kind of psychic ability to manipulate the things that he's growing, so he can take out seeds and grow them, but he can actually direct them at his opponents and various things like that. So that's Bin's fruit, the Mosa Mosa no Mi. Next, in the film Gold, movie 13, we have two more. It seems like every movie, like in the last few years, it's like introduced just two unique devil fruit users for each movie. So we have Ein and Bin's in film Z, and in film Gold we have Guild Tesoro and we have Baccarat. So Guild Tesoro has the power of the Gol Gol no Mi, which is an awakened fruit that allows him to control gold. So basically the same basic gist from what we've seen with Awakenings before, with Katakuri's Mochi or Doflamingo String, except with gold. He can take gold in its solid form, he can turn it into its liquid form, and gold is an extremely malleable metal. It's not as hard as other metals, but that kind of makes up for it because he can make like various weapons out of it at will. He turned it into that giant robo thing made out of gold that attacked Luffy and the entire island. Well, not really an island, it was a mobile casino, but you know what I mean. He can ensnare people with gold dust. He can like manipulate it all over his little ship, and he can control where everything's at. So he has like the finger on the pulse of his entire ship at once, using this devil fruit like a gold network running underneath it. It was an interesting ability, and made even more interesting by the fact that it was an awakened, because I think this is the only filler devil fruit that is shown to be awakened at this point. Maybe, well, I don't really consider Ground's fruit to be awakened, because as soon as he ate it when he was a kid, it was going out of control, so I don't think that was the case there. But anyway, the other fruit introduced in Film Gold is one I've actually already talked about, and it's the Rocky Rocky no fruit, or the Luck Luck fruit. Wielded by Baccarat. Okay, so go watch this video I made all about her Luck Luck fruit. I want to make a few corrections to that, though. But first off, just her ability, alright? She has the ability to alter the luck of people that she touches. Now, you might be thinking for a second, luck is kind of like a subjective thing. Like, it's not like a tangible thing, you know? So whenever she removes the luck from Luffy, it's like he like slips on banana peels that were just there. Like, they weren't there before. She touches him, and then all of a sudden there's banana peels that he slips on. She removes the luck from Sanji. He drops his cigarette, and his clothes just spontaneously combust, like they were doused in kerosene or something. It's kind of a reality warping fruit. It's really the kind of thing that you shouldn't think about too much, because it really hurts your brain. It was really, I think, just because the movie was centered around gambling and you know, the casino and everything, Grand Tesoro, like that was the whole point of the movie and the whole aesthetic. So you're gonna have to have a guy that has a gold devil fruit and also a person that can manipulate luck. It's just a really kind of hard fruit to grasp, I guess, or rather it compresses luck, because, you know, she can't make it like it's 100% likely, because at that point it's no longer luck. So she can absorb the luck from other people and make it very unlikely for her to get hit, but it's still kind of like bending reality or some shit. Let's see here. There's a character from Marvel, I think her name is Domino, and I'm not a comic book reader really, so I don't know, but apparently there's a character named Domino that has a similar ability, so maybe you could tell me a little bit about her. There is a weakness to the fruit, and the weakness is she can only, you know, like she only has a certain amount of luck to work with, and like the way Usopp got around it is when they were fighting her, when she was wearing the skimpy gold armor, because how do you do? And the entire time Baccarat was making a point to fight with nothing but a gold coin, because from her perspective, like she could just toss the coin into the air and it would land on somebody's foot and they would trip and fall, and they'd shoot a gun and it would shoot off and ricochet and hit the opponent. Like, that's the kind of like reality bending crap she had. So she fought with a coin, she threw the coin, Usopp fired the slot machine shot, the coin, you know, goes perfectly into the slot machine, hits 777, and that like sucked up all of her luck, because the astronomical odds that you would have to shoot a coin into a tiny slot of a slot machine that's traveling super fast, and then even after that hits the lever and then it hits 777, that's like a tremendous, godly, impossible amount of luck. So that drained all of her luck away, and that's how they were able to beat her. And at the end of that fight, she was like, but I should have had plenty of luck left, and that got all of her luck siphoned off. So it's like she absorbs luck from other people and stockpiles it, but it's not forever, and just because of the nature of luck, there has to be at least a slim chance that she might lose. It can't be 100%, because at that point you're not really lucky anymore. That's just the ability to alter fate. That's like some Izanagi shit from Naruto or something, right? So yeah, that's Baccarat. If you want more of a backstory on her, go check out the Luck video I did. That's a pretty popular video I've done. It's one of my most popular ones too. So yeah, I'm really proud of that one. Okay, moving on. Those were all the movies. So now let's talk about the original video animations. The first of which that has a devil fruit that's unique is of the 3D2Y OVA, and this features two new ones. This is Burn D World with the power of the Moa Moa no Mi, or the More fruit. This is a really basic ability. You take an object and you can make it bigger. So Burn D World, get it? Burn D World, just in case you didn't get it. He could take a coin like this, little tiny coin, not really all that damaging, and he can make it giant, like the size, or the size of like a manhole cover, and just swing it at his opponent, or make it even bigger, the size of like a huge disc, and he could just chuck that thing and like slice a ship in half with it. So that's the power of the More fruit. Take an object, make it bigger, wreck a lot of shit with it. Pretty cool. The other ability is from Gyram, who has the power of the Cubu no Mi, the cube fruit. So he can turn things into cubes. Like, he could do something very similar to Kuma's Ursus Shock, where he can make a cube of air and compress the air into a cube and then release it like a bomb. He can turn other people into cubes. He can break apart ships and large objects into various cubes. So, yeah. Cube human. He's kind of square if you ask me. I'll see myself out. Alright, moving on to the Heart of Gold OVA, which I love just because it gave us not only a shot of Robin's ass like this, but also gave Nami this expression. I don't know why, but that is a perfect representation of, like, Nami's inner desire for wealth and greed made manifest in a facial expression. Just... okay, so Heart of Gold was a pretty cool special. We first have Mad Treasure, who has a Devil Fruit ability that I thought was definitely going to be used in the main story. He has the power of the Jara no Mi, or the Chain Fruit, so he can just summon chains from his body. That seems like a really cool ability that Oda could use in the actual story at one point. Summon a chain, swing it around, capture opponents, turn your body into metal so you really can't get cut. Mad Treasure uses it, and like this, once again, he has like a hulking form he has where his whole body turns into chains and his like hair turns into a chain. I'm really disappointed. I mean, it was a cool character, it was an awesome special, but I just wish this ability was used in the actual canon of the story. I think it was one of the few on here that could have actually translated rather well, you know what I mean? But that was Mad Treasure. And then we also have Psycho P, who has the power of the Iro no Mi, or the Color Fruit. This is a weird one. It allows him to camouflage himself using paint. So he has like a spray paint, and he can like spray himself to blend into the background, or disguise himself as somebody else, or other people. Now, it's not the same thing as the Suki no Mi, the clear fruit that Absalom has, because Absalom is able to just straight up turn invisible, opaque, clear, no matter where he's at. This fruit only kind of works like a chameleon, the way that the chameleon would mimic their surroundings. So if Psycho P is up against a blue wall, he can take out his spray paint and spray himself the same color as that blue wall, and he's camouflage, not invisible, camouflage. But the second he moves, so it's not the same thing as the Suki no Mi, but it is a useful ability for espionage if you can use it in the right way. So that's Psycho P. Alright, so those are the OVAs. Now moving on to the video games. And there's not that many unique Devil Fruits in the video games. I think at a certain point they started making just like they realized One Piece works better as just like a fighter kind of game, like a tournament fighter. But in the early days, there was a lot of, there was some Devil Fruits that were unique to the video games. I already talked about Noko's Nemu no Mi, the whole sleeping thing, but in a video game for the Game Boy Advance in 2002, this is the first one we have, this is from Big Secret Treasure of the Seven Phantom Islands. I wonder what the big secret treasure is of the Seven Phantom Islands. What are the Seven Phantom Islands? I need to get a copy of this, and we need to play it. There was a character named Simon who has the power of the Logia Pasa no Mi. And no, it doesn't turn him into pasta. No, it turns him into paper. So, a paper Devil Fruit. Very impressive. And he has two abilities. He has an offensive ability and a defensive ability using paper. One is an explosive one, so think of just like the paper bombs from Naruto, just rip off a sheet of paper and throw it at people. Basically like Conan. Yeah, that's a good comparison there. Conan kind of had that fruit from Naruto. In fact, that's a really good one because she really could turn her body into paper. And we all saw what happened there. That's one of my favorite fights in Naruto because you didn't think Conan would be able to go up against freaking, well, at the time, Madara at the time. We didn't know, but damn, girl pulled it off. And I'm still pissed about that. Can I have a minor Naruto rant? You can skip if you don't want. It won't be long. So, Kishimoto drew concept art of Conan's outfit under her Akatsuki cloak, and it's like a super sexy outfit, shows off her midriff, and she has like her belly button pierced. We never got to see that in the actual anime, and I am angry about that, very much so. Moving on. So that was the Pasa Pasa no Mi. Now we have the character that has the mini fruit. The same fruit that Lily and Stalmach had in the Z's Ambition filler. So this is Bru, or Bruce, as some translations carry him on. And he's from the PS2 game Round the Land from 2004. And it's the same exact fruit that Lily had, so I guess Bruce must have died at some point. It was stated that he was a member of the Giant Warrior Pirates, the same as Broggy and Dory and Oimo and Kashi. So they were part of that at one point, and he broke off, and that's where you meet him in the game and everything like that. So, yeah, same basic idea. He's a giant, but he can minimize himself to be normal human height, or minimize himself even further to be like the height of like a peanut or something. So, yeah, I guess Bruce died, and Lily ended up eating the fruit at some point. Maybe Bruce was like the teacher or the mentor to Lily. Who knows? Fan fiction writers, have at it. All right, next we have the last one in the list. No, not the last one. There's two more, but they're from the same game. So it was a long time before we had another video game that featured a unique devil fruit. Round the Land was released in 2004. The next one we had was Unlimited World Red, which was released in 2013. And this was for the PlayStation 3, PS4, Xbox, all that stuff. And it was Patrick Redfield, who has the power of the Bato Bato no Mi model vampire. It's a mythical zone that allows him to turn into a straight-up vampire. Although, not really. It does give him the demonic appearance of a vampire, but he doesn't actually suck blood. He sucks, like, life energy. And he doesn't actually, go up and, like, bite people and suck their blood and everything. He just draws their life or their soul energy out of them or some bullshit. So, whatever, though. He's a vampire. That's cool. I was expecting also maybe a vampire fruit to be used in the actual One Piece story. I think Oda could have had a lot of fun with that, but I guess that's not going to happen because Patrick Redfield has it. He was a prisoner in Level 6 Impel Down, and it was stated that Patrick Redfield was kind of just as powerful as Whitebeard or Roger in their heyday. It's just that he was a little bit less known, and he was rather aloof. They called him Red the Aloof because he didn't really work together with others. But yeah, he's from the movie Unlimited World Red. I mean, not from the video game Unlimited World Red, as well as another character that has a mythical zone. There's a lot of other forms of media that like to use mythical zones after Oda introduced the concept. It's funny because there's only like 2 of them in the story so far. We have Marco and we have Sengoku that are confirmed mythical zone users. Maybe you could say Momonosuke has a mythical zone, but dragons aren't mythical in One Piece because they actually existed at some point. But anyway, this is Pato, and Pato is a pen that ate a mythical zone. Why would you give one of the most rare, probably the most rare type of devil fruits to a freaking pen? I don't know, but whatever. You gave him this, and it was the Dog Monster Raccoon, the Inu Inu no Mi model Bake Danuki. So this is a joke from whenever Chopper is introduced to a new character. They always think Chopper is a Tanuki dog rather than a reindeer, especially when he's in his little chibi form. He's like, I'm not a Tanuki dog, I'm a reindeer, damn it. That's the joke. There really was a mythical zone that transforms you not just into a regular Tanuki, which allows you to transform into various things, but a specific monster dog Tanuki. So yeah, great. Okay, so yeah, he has the ability to transform into various things. He's also a pen, so if you ever need a pen, you can write things with your monster dog Tanuki pen. Awesome. And alright, so that's everything I would include in the mainstream One Piece franchise. This is the stuff that you might have actually encountered. Maybe you played some of the video games. Maybe you watched some of these movies or saw some of the filler arcs or the OVAs. But now we're going to get into more of the obscure stuff. Now we're going to the theater! But not just any theater, Japanese theater. Yeah. So these are mostly from the One Piece premiere shows, and they are probably as non-canon can get. And some of these fruits are very similar to fruits we've already seen in the story. But, you know, if you were actually there, you know, watching the play, I'm sure it would have been really impressive. But talking about them now and looking at some of these low-quality images, they leave a little bit to be desired. But, so, the One Piece premiere show has been happening every year since 2012, according to my records. And so there's one every year. So from 2012 to 2017, I don't think this year's has happened yet. So, yeah, there's a few from other stuff, but we'll just go down the list. So, from the One Piece premiere show from 2012, we had a character named Chameleon. Chameleon. He's a chameleon. And a lot of these had concept art designed by Oda. So he came up with, like, the general idea for the character, and then, like, the costume department made, you know, based on Oda's designs. So there's this character, Chameleon, and he has the ability of the Kopi no Mi, or the Copy no Mi. You might be thinking that's kind of similar to Mr. 2's Mane no Mi, to copy appearances, or the camouflage fruit that Psycho P used. Oh, no. He does not copy appearances. And he doesn't blend in with the background either. You know what he copies? He copies devil fruit powers. Yeah. Just a tiny OP, just a little bit. So, yeah, now you can see the general premise of where we're going with a lot of these theater productions. A lot of them have a little bit of broken devil fruits, but it's just in the context of that one play. So, yeah. He touches a character, he can absorb their devil fruit ability and use it as his own. There's a certain level of concentration required to use them, because I believe there was a scene in the play, and I obviously haven't seen the play, I just have to read what I have on the wiki, but there's a scene in the play where he's about to use a devil fruit ability, and he sneezes, and he can't use it at that point. He gets distracted, so it's possible it requires a lot of attention, but just imagine if that fruit existed in the One Piece world. Like, you can copy other devil fruits and then stack powers. Like, yeah, that'd be kind of hideously broken. I mean, look at Blackbeard, kind of. But anyway, next we have the premiere show from 2013, and this gave us a character named Lambor Bukini with the power of the Gutsu no Mi, or the Smelt fruit. It's the same as Bill's. And this is interesting because this was before Bill. This was in 2013. So this was long before this happened. It's possible that maybe someone in the anime department saw the premiere show in 2013 and was like, I like the concept of that power. Let's use it in an anime filler arc. And they did. So yeah, same basic premise as Bill's, the blast furnace human. Alright, next, from the premiere show 2014, we have two of them. We have one used by a character named Bildy, who has the Kone no Mi, or the Need fruit, and he has the ability to change others' appearances. So he can go up to others and change them into other people. So he can make, you know, person A look like person B. But I don't know if it actually works on himself, because that would be too similar to Mr. 2's Mane no Mi. So he has the ability to change other people's appearances. So kind of a useful one. Then we have Smash, who has the power of the Zuma no Mi, or the Plasma fruit. See, that's a cool concept. That's neat. Plasma, the fourth state of matter. And we don't know if it's a Logia or what kind of type it is. I'm going to assume it's a Logia. And Smash, in the context of the play, was like an old Marine soldier. I think it was like a vice admiral, maybe even an admiral or something. But yeah, this old Marine dude that has the ability to control friggin' plasma. Yeah, that's cool, man. Alright, so that was from Premiere Show 2014. Moving to 2015. Oh, this is a good one. This is great. Okay. I'm going to describe this character's ability to you, and I want you to just shout out which character from another anime this reminds you of. I seriously want you to do it. I don't care if you're sitting at home right now, if there's people around you, if you're watching this on a bus, if you're at school right now, I want you to shout it to the world, okay? Just shout out the character's name when we get to that point, alright? So, the character's name in the play is Burst, or Bursto, and he has the power of the Nitro fruit, which gives him the ability to sweat a nitroglycerin-like substance, and then when clasping his hands together, to create an explosion from said substance. Bakugo! Did you get it? Okay. He has the ability of Bakugo Katsuki from My Hero Academia, and sweats a nitroglycerin substance, although this was in 2015. And, yeah, I believe, well, I don't know. I started reading My Hero Academia in April of 2016, but I believe it was already a year old at that point, so this, I don't know the exact date when this premiere show premiered in theater, but, That might have been around the same time. Maybe someone was a fan of Horikoshi's work and they decided to go with it. But okay, the Nitro fruit. That's fun. Then we also have Bon Bon, who is a character. He is the brother of Burstall, and he has the power of the Hore no Mi. Don't laugh. This is serious business. It's the fall in love fruit. It's the fall fruit, or falling in love fruit. And he uses this ability to make other people fall in love with other people. So he uses this ability in the play to make Nami fall in love with his brother Bursto. Oh, and oh no. It gets better. Bursto and Bon Bon, along with their other brother, who doesn't have a devil fruit ability, are a scientist trio that are decked out in super futuristic battle suits that have the ability to fly using their jet-propelled shoes. Now, what does that make you think of? This was in 2015. This was before the Germa were introduced. That wasn't until 2016. So I think that was Oda trying to give, like, let's give a little bit of a hint of what's to come. I definitely think Oda was behind that, because the times match up perfectly. Like, the Germa were introduced, like, at the beginning of 2016, and this was in 2015. So, yeah, I know what you're on to, Oda. So this was a precursor to the Germa. Alright. But anyway, yeah, that was the Hore no Mi. Kind of similar to the... You know, it's weird. Boa Hancock's fruit is literally called the love fruit, but it doesn't actually make people fall in love. It just turns people to stone that have impure thoughts. And I think it's Boa Hancock's own attractiveness that makes people fall in love with her, but whatever. Or maybe it is a side effect of the fruit. I don't know. Anyway, next we have the Premiere Show 2016, where we have a character named Wilder, who has the power of the Nepa no Mi, or the Heat Wave fruit. So, another heat fruit. It gives him the ability to shoot out heat waves and catch things on fire. He has a giant fan that he uses to fan his heat out and to affect various locations, cause explosions, that general stuff. Then we have Poke, who has the ability of the Mono no Mi, or the Paste fruit. He can make clones of various things, so he can touch a pen, and then poof, make a duplicate of the pen. That's not a very good copy of the pen, but you know what I mean. You know, he can touch people, make clones of them. Clones. I don't think he can do it on humans, but he can do it on, like, objects or weapons or things like that. He can make clones of things, like copy and paste. So there you go. Then we have the Premiere Show 2017, the most recent one. We have a character named Bad One Gracie. Okay, Japan. And he has the power of the Uto no Mi, or the Shoot fruit, or the Gun fruit. Turns his fingers into guns and his arms into cannons. Basic shit like that. Next is Nero, who has the power of the Pocha no Mi, or the Flab fruit, or the Fat fruit. This is where we're getting into some of the more comedic ones, so to speak. So, remember Alvida, who has the power of the Sube no Mi, or the Slim fruit, or the Slip fruit? This is basically the opposite of that, where instead of getting slippery, you gain like 100 pounds, and you get some flab on those bones. So yeah, maybe, if they could figure out some way to eat more than one devil fruit, Brooke should eat this fruit. Brooke eats the fat fruit, and he managed to get some skin on those bones, you know what I mean? That would be funny if he actually, like, grows skin back to where he is, but he just turns into a fat guy. Yo ho ho ho! Yo ho ho! Okay, hold on, guys. Okay. Yeah. Alright. So moving on, this is not a premiere show. This is actually a Tokyo Tower live special premiere show event or something. Remember, at the top of Tokyo Tower, you have, like, the One Piece thing going on. And this is a character named Anne, who appears, like, Oda gave, like, a concept art for Anne, but she also appeared in, like, there's actually an actress that plays her. And she has the power of the Bijo no Mi, or the Vision fruit. And she can make illusions of things. So she can make things appear, like, people appear places where they're not supposed to be. I've never seen this stage event before, but I would assume using, like, stage technology and, like, fog machines and lasers and holograms, you could make, like, multiple people appear on stage and, like, maybe dance or something. Maybe that's the power of the fruit or something. Like I said, I've never seen the event. I've never been to Japan. I really wish I could be, but I can't. So there's one more thing here from a stage show, and this is a character named Gradle. And he has the power of the Meta no Mi, and this is from the dramatic stage play The Metal, Marineford of Remembrance. And it's the ability of, I know I use Terminator references a lot. I always use the knives and stabbing weapons just because I like saying knives and stabbing weapons in Arnold Schwarzenegger's like Terminator voice. But no, it's the T-1000. It's liquid metal. That's basically what he is. He can create duplicates of himself. He can create weapons out of liquid metal. So that's the Metanomi, or the metal fruit. All right. So those are all the stage plays. We're done, right? Oh no, we're not. You silly boy. Or girl, we got a lot more stuff to do here. Not that many. We have like 4 more, okay? So next is the SBS. Oda has come out in the SBS and thrown out some just comedic or just goofy devil fruit ideas. They're not canon. They're never going to be. They're just really silly. So one of them is the Gero, and they don't have users. They're just concepts. So one is the Gero no Mi, or the disgusting fruit, or the icky fruit, the vomit fruit, and it just makes the person very disgusting. Use your imagination. Then we have the Samu fruit, which is the chili fruit. Is it an ice-based ability? No. Not chilly in the sense of cold, chilly in the sense of like a bad joke, like corny. Like the corny fruit. So the person that eats this fruit can only tell really lame jokes. No. I ate the cringe fruit, not the corny fruit. Okay? I still am a big fan of my, I remember when I made the review where I did that crow joke. You know, like a group of crows is called a murder, and a group of only 2 to 3 crows is an attempted murder. I saw a lot of people in the comments that were like, okay, that made me laugh. So yeah, screw you. I didn't eat the corny fruit, but I think we all know somebody that did. The dad joke fruit, maybe. And then the last one we have is the arrow fruit. Erotic, or the sexy fruit. Oda has come out and said that he had this idea about 13 or so times where he wanted to make this a thing. It might have very well just turned into the love fruit that Hancock has, the mero. So maybe that was what it turned into, but the arrow fruit, you eat it and become extremely erotic, I guess. I don't know, but those are just concepts in the SBS. We'll probably never see those in the actual story. But that's everything except one thing left, and I'm actually kind of glad I finally get to talk about this, because where else would I ever discuss it? Okay, so for One Piece's 20th anniversary, they had a big citywide event in Kyoto, Japan, where you would have to go around the city and find various stalls where a certain straw hat would give you a stamp. And then you would take all these stamps to Kyoto City Hall, and you would get prizes if you gathered all of the different Straw Hat stamps from all over Kyoto. And this wasn't just like a small little thing. This wasn't just like a cute little promotional event that happened like one weekend or something. It was pretty much, it was like for like 3 weeks in the month of October in 2017, and the entire city lit up with Straw Hats. There was an art exhibition there that featured all this really cool, like, traditional Japanese, like, ukiyo paintings, but with the design of the Straw Hats. There was a story to go along with this, featuring a character named Tora Sugu, who is the one that has the devil fruit, the bird fruit model Nue. It's a mythical zone that allows them to turn into a yokai, a Japanese demon called a Nue. It has the face of a monkey, the body and legs of a tiger, and the mane of a lion, and the snake for a tail. And they actually made like a sculpture of the mythical zone that was on display during the art exhibition. And this was something that was just like a citywide event. All of the various events all over the city that took place all centered around the Straw Hats in some way. So Luffy's stamp was located at Kyoto Station. There was also a place set up there where the imposter Straw Hat pirates were giving out fake stamps. Zoro's was placed at Mubudera Temple, where there was also because I guess there was a thing in Japan where you could write on like a wish, something that you want to happen on like a wooden slab, and you could see Zoro's like handwriting like, I want to be the greatest swordsman in the world, and that was located there. Nami's stamp was located in the Tozai line. It was a subway. It had Nami's voice actress having, subway etiquette rules, like, please watch the closing doors, over that. There were etiquette posters plastered all over the subway. Like, for instance, there would have been, like, a sign that said no smoking on it, and it would be featuring smokers. So I thought stuff like that was really clever. There were fake advertisements plastered all over the subway for Nojiko's Tangerines and for Hachan's Takoyaki. There was a secret coded message for CP9. There was a criminal brand poster advertisement for the clothing. I mean, they really went into this. Usopp's stamp was located at the Kyoto International Manga Museum. That's a place I need to go, where it featured various scenes from the One Piece world, from the One Piece manga, but they were altered so that Usopp was the main character. He was like the one that was doing all this stuff instead of Luffy. Sanji's stamp was located at a tea house inside Yasuka Shrine, and you could order various beverages that were Sanji-centric. Also, there were 2 pictures of Sanji welcoming guests to the tea house outside of it, and one of them was for men and one of them was for women. I can't read Japanese, but just by looking at these signs, you can tell what they kind of say, you know what I mean? Chopper's was located inside of a sweet shop that specialized in yatsuhashi, which is like a delicacy in Japan. It's sort of like flour mixed with sugar and cinnamon. Sounds good. Anyway, you could order special Chopper-inspired yatsuhashi while there. Robin's and Frankie's, for some reason, they combined together. I don't know if they just ran out of money and they didn't have 2 extra attractions, or maybe they were just a big fan of the shipping. I don't know. But Robin's and Frankie's were located at Nijo Castle, where you can have an interactive tour featuring QR scanners that were based off of Frankie, so that was pretty neat. Finally, we have Brook's Stamp, which was located at yet another shrine, the Kuromazaki Shrine in this case. Visitors there could receive a special charm that had Brook's image on it, but these things were so popular, they ran out after 3 days, and this was like an event that took up most of October. I think it was at least 2 weeks long or something like that. So, yeah, if you got your hands on one of these Brook charms, let me tell you, I have some money. Maybe you could, I don't know. Yeah, no. Something that precious, like a limited lifetime thing like the One Piece X Kyoto thing is probably not going to happen again, because this was like a 20th anniversary special event. If you managed to get your hand on one of those charms, if you were there at that time for those 3 days where they were giving them out, you know, you deserve it, man. You're a diehard fan. You could keep them. But anyway, yeah, that's the One Piece X Kyoto event. I really just wanted to go into it because I thought it was such a fascinating thing, and I really don't have any other opportunities to go into it. I didn't really want to make a whole video about it, but there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video going through all the various filler devil fruits. Which is your favorite? What are the ones that you would like to see incorporated into the actual story? Because like I said, like if you were really a big fan of Musaru's Shroom fruit, I mean, Oda could always like just change the name up and, you know, incorporate it into One Piece in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, let me know on the ones that you would like to see in the One Piece story. This is already a really long video, but thanks for sticking with me so far. And yeah, I was supposed to make this video back in like December. I was gonna make this as like a Christmas special, but it just didn't happen, so I was like, alright, put that on the back burner, we'll get to it at some point. Here's the point, we got to it. Alright, thanks for watching, everybody. Signing out.